Can you break down for me and anybody who doesn't know how Google's search works and the difference between that and pre-search? And then we can get into kind of just the key features of pre-search. You talk about token and rewards. So can you break down just how people search things on the internet?
Yeah, so I mean, it fundamentally is fairly similar. Really, I think the big difference between like a decentralized project like Presearch and something like Google actually comes back to more like the structure of it and the vision of it. And so, if you think of like the foundation of Google, it started off as an academic project, and it was very, grassroots. But then they took venture capital, and then so as soon as venture capital comes in, then you've basically got this class of people that is looking for an investment return. And how do they get that investment return? Well, you can either be bought or you can go public. And if you go public, then you're basically submitting to the rules of Wall Street, which is basically drive as much revenue as possible, and profit is kind of the barometer of your success. And so what you end up doing in that model is basically creating all these different stakeholders that have totally different objectives. So you've got a user, and they want the best search results, and they want generally privacy, and they want to be respected. You've got advertisers that want the best results at kind of the best rate, ideally, and they want to hopefully have an audience that kind of respects them, and an audience that's going to last. But then you've kind of got this other group that has, this objective that is basically, extract as much as possible from both those two groups, and that's how they get their, rewards. And so by having everybody kind of misaligned, you end up with a search engine like Google that does, tracking and profiling and all the things that people don't like. They do a search on there, and then they're surfing the internet, or they're man, sometimes on a smart TV or whatever, and somehow they get an ad for the thing that they searched for, and it's because they've been tracked and profiled, and it's kind of got this creepy factor. And then there's the stuff that goes on behind the scenes that just none of us really knows about. InQtel being one of the investors division of the CIA in Google. I mean, who knows, right? And then you've got something that's more decentralized, like Presearch, where basically the users and the team, the early crowdfunders, everybody is basically aligned around the same value unit, which is the Presearch token. And so, for the people who hold pre-tokens, like if the user is feeling abused, and if there's like negativity around that, then that's going to impact the token price. If the advertiser is not obtaining value, then that's going to impact the token price. And it doesn't just, kind of impact the funders. It's like the advertisers themselves hold the token. So they have an incentive to not try to abuse the users. The users, if they're delivering value to the advertisers, and the advertisers value the token more, well, they are earning tokens. And so their kind of asset increases in value. So it's kind of like this flywheel where everybody benefits, and we're all kind of on that same level playing field. As the project grows and gets stronger, the value of the token increases, and then that benefits everybody, versus Google, where it's like less than 1% of the people who use Google actually own Google shares. And the way that it was started, there was kind of this insider group that got access to really kind of all that upside within Google equity. And so ultimately you end up with retail investors, and sure, there's still upside, but it's like at a whole different level. Whereas this is like, man, we've got people who are our biggest advertisers, also our most active users, and our most significant crowdfunders. And it's like the same person, and they're all kind of aligned around this same value unit. And so there's the technological aspect of it as well, which again, not like super different on many levels. The crawling and the indexing and determining relevance, a lot of those things happen similarly. It's just that you've kind of got that playing field that's been leveled, and then it's really more about kind of just instead of having these massive data centers we're distributing our infrastructure to all the unused computing resources or virtual private servers that people are running these nodes on. Instead of having this team of engineers working behind the scenes on an algorithm, it's open to the community so that they can help curate that determination of relevance, and through things like staking tokens and other ways that they can confer trust, it enables the community to actually participate, so it's not like this black box. And ultimately, what that will result in is not this kind of monolithic vanilla search engine that's the same for everybody, that is kind of in the corner of the powers that be, censoring information that a lot of people are looking for or finding different kind of views on. And it's providing people with something that is working really more for them in their interests. And especially ultimately as the governance model takes effect, then it's like it's to me, search is like a utility, honestly. Like it's one of those fundamental core things. We need it for a free and open internet, and it shouldn't be in the hands of one company that controls 92% of all searches.
I'm glad you brought up the incentive and values part, because I try to explain tokenization to people and they're like, how's that different from Wall Street? And I'm like, I don't know.
That's it, man. Honestly, it's one of the biggest things, and there should be more communication around it, because it's super important. Not only that, but I think the nature of most of these crypto projects. I mean, we've got our Telegram group, or there's Reddit, and it's like the founders of the project, the people who are involved, they're there. If you have an issue, you can communicate with people. If you have feedback and ways that you can steer things and help improve it, then you can participate. Versus, oh, well, if you were in the focus group, then you maybe got to have a say. But for the most part, everything is kind of done behind closed doors. And you try to, you have this like team of people trying to determine what should we give them. And then they give it to you, versus like, we're kind of working out in the open, and people are like constantly like, hey, this sucks, or hey, this is good. Hey, did you think of this? Hey, I know this person, and we can introduce you to their project, and then this will unlock all these other doors. And so it's just a much more collaborative process as far as really building the project, versus a traditional VC backed or kind of Wall Street focused business.
Yeah, so is that kind of the main difference? Because, like you said, it's still kind of analogous somewhat to the past, but I think the main difference is that companies and projects are working out more in the open and not behind curtains, which kind of just behooves people to do things that the public might not like if it was in the open. Does that kind of make sense?
Absolutely. And there's kind of a different level of accountability. I mean, even pre like full decentralized governance, I mean, like, good luck, getting your feedback to Larry and Sergey from Google, even when they were in the early days. I mean, there was like this huge wall around them. And so they could do things knowing that, hey, well, worst comes to worst, somebody's gonna, whatever, maybe vent on something, but it's never gonna actually come back to me. I gotta like show up. I do a weekly video every single week, and I go through the YouTube comments from the previous week, and like, man, if people want to like, hey, dude, you're a dick, like, then they can do it. And it's kind of that interaction that is just at a whole different level than in those types of entities. And so, yeah, I mean, there's from a technological standpoint, definitely some differences, but it's to me a lot of just kind of the values alignment, and trying to just be more connected, basically.
Will you always be this accessible, like no matter how big Presearch gets in the future?
I was gonna ask as well. Like
Yeah,
at a critical mass, can you still have that transparency and communication with audiences?
I think you can. And it's always like so we've got a team of admins within our Telegram channel, for instance. So like, do I answer every question? Absolutely not. It's not possible. There's too many things going on. But like literally, I'm lurking nonstop, and I participate, when it's like something new. Oh, this has never been asked before, or this is, and then as I put that out, then the people who are the admins pick that up, and then that becomes kind of the thing. So it's like evolving in real time. And I'm always like 1 degree away. It's like an admin has the ability to access me no matter what. And so I think that is actually pretty scalable, to tell you the truth. And I think that I'm shocked, honestly, at like how accessible you can be, and not have overwhelm on certain fronts. It's like like Gary Vaynerchuk, like him putting his phone number out on billboards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, you know what, like 5 people called me. It's like, at the end of the day, it's ultimately generally a choice. Do you want to be accessible or not? And for the most part, a lot of the times where they're not, it's just that they choose not to be. For me personally, honestly, I don't really consider myself as much of a technologist. I mean, I am, but I'm more about people, man. I love people. I think people are amazing. And that is, truthfully, what I'm hoping really more to bring to the search space is more of like the human element of search, because it's so easy just to go to algorithms and to go to technology and to try to like fully automate everything and have this kind of like autonomous system, which is good, definitely in some respects. We want some some processes to be autonomous, but ultimately I feel like sometimes with engineers, they don't do, maybe what they should do. They do what they could do. And, oftentimes the difference between should and could comes down to the impact on humans. And sometimes if you're just too disconnected from the human side of it, you don't really understand what the actual impact is. And so you do, oh yeah, we could do this. It's like, fully automated. Well, yeah, it's got all these unintended consequences, and it has ended up as a net negative for the humans. It's like I don't really subscribe to that being the right way to operate. I'm much more about the amazing people that are out there in the world and trying to connect with them and trying to give them tools and learn from them and be inspired from them. Honestly, it's like there's so many amazing people that we cross paths with every day with this type of global project. It's just, I don't know, that's what gets me excited. It's really not so much about financial resources. It's not so much about technology. It's like, man, there are like billions of amazing people out there, and all the potential that we have, and think of all the amazing stuff that we could do if we were better organized, or if we were more cohesive, even in a way where we realized, hey, you know what, there's some people that are kind of working against our interests. They don't want us to realize our potential. They're trying to suppress us. Let's try to support not just Presearch by any means, all the different projects. Like, man, there should be a competitor to Presearch, and like bring them in too, and like try to get more people onto these different alternative platforms that really want to help them unlock their potential and just move us all forward. We've got the technology, we've got these networks, we've got these ways that we can be connected, but underlying that right now is like Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook and Wall Street and Google and all the other big tech companies. And it's like, man, if we just like kind of harness the good but got rid of the bad, generally the controlling kind of narcissist, sociopathic kind of side of things, and went just more to like free humans, just think about what we could do. It'd be amazing. So that's what gets me excited.
Awesome. I think that's a good place to stop. Free humans and awesomeness.
Yes.
You have a one last sentence you want to leave people with?
No, just thanks for watching. If you're interested, presearch.org. And thanks to everybody who's been a part of it and who's been supporting us. Appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you so much, Colin, for coming on the show. I certainly learned a lot. Hopefully everyone else did too. And yeah, I'm definitely going to start utilizing Presearch more now that I like know more about it, because I want to be a part of the mission.
Yeah, baby.
Awesome.
We want to be part of your mission, man. Thanks, Colin.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Colin, thank you so much for your time again.